Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to season 3 of the Truth and Freedom podcast, where awakening begins with asking the question most people are afraid to ask. I'm your host, Dr. Dan Amzallag, and this is not just another podcast. This is a journey into awareness, courage, and truth. Today, we're starting with a topic that sits at the heart of every personal transformation, every breakthrough, and every moment of real growth, which you may all know is the truth. Not the filtered one, not the comfortable one, or the version we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. Not at all. I'm talking about the kind of truth that liberates you, the truth that sets you free. And yet, ironically, it's often the last thing we're willing to face. Now, I want you to imagine holding a beach ball on the water. At first, it seems manageable. You push down, you apply some pressure, you keep it submerged. But the longer you hold it there, the more exhausted you become. Your arms ache, your shoulders tighten, and the moment you loosen your grip even a little, that ball shoots right back up. This is what happens when we suppress truth about our relationship, our mental health, our habits, our patterns, our fears. We spend so much energy keeping the truth on the water that we don't realize how much it's draining us. Most of us never consciously say, I want to avoid reality today. Instead, we slip into avoidance quietly. We minimize things because the full weight of truth feels too heavy. We rationalize behavior, ours and others, because confronting what's actually happening feels overwhelming. We tell ourselves, it's fine, I can handle it, even though something inside us is quietly screaming for honesty. And when we do that long enough, we begin living a double life, the life we want others to see and the life we actually feel inside. And here's something we often don't like to admit. Avoiding the truth hurts far more than the truth itself ever could. The pain we avoid doesn't go away. It dissolves honestly. It turns into anxiety. It becomes tension. It shows up as stress, irritation, sleepless night, confusion, resentment, and that deep inner sense that things just aren't right. The truth isn't what breaks us. The avoidance is. When we lie to ourselves, even in small ways, we break our own spirit piece by piece because we're forcing ourselves to live out of alignment with reality. Now, one of the biggest obstacles to freedom is self-deception. And the tricky part is, self-deception doesn't always look like a bold-faced lie. It often looks like, maybe we'll get better if I wait a little bit longer. Or, it's probably my fault. Or, this is just how life is. Life is unfair. Now, these subtle, almost innocent thoughts can keep us stuck in a harmful situation for years. Avoidance becomes a habit, and then the habit becomes a lifestyle. And before you know it, the life you're living isn't the life you want. It's the life you settled for because the truth felt too scary to face head on. But here's the turning point. Honesty is not weakness. Honesty is one of the most courageous acts a human being can perform. To look at your life and say, this hurts, or I'm tired or fed up, or this relationship is draining me, or I'm not myself anymore. That all takes incredible strength. It is much easier to pretend. It is much easier to numb. It is much easier to distract yourself with work, social media, relationship, food, alcohol, busyness, anything that keeps you from sitting with reality. Facing the truth requires stepping into the unknown. It requires vulnerability. It requires giving up the illusion of control. But that very vulnerability is what frees you from the internal pressure that's been building for far too long in your life. Now, something powerful happens the moment you tell yourself the truth, even privately. Your mind relaxes, your body softens, your heart stops fighting itself. You feel the emotional weight shift because the war between what you feel and what you pretend is finally over. Truth doesn't instantly change your circumstances, but it immediately changes your clarity. And clarity creates choice. Now, you cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot fix what you pretend isn't broken. You cannot walk out of a cage you refuse to admit you're in. People often fear that facing the truth will destroy their life, but the truth never destroys what is real. It only destroyed what was false, such as false hope, false assumption, false stories, false expectation. If a relationship ends when the truth is acknowledged, that relationship was already over. If a job becomes unbearable once you're honest about how unhappy you are, the job was already misaligned. The truth doesn't take away your stability. The truth gives you the path to real stability, the kind built on something solid rather than denial. So when you embrace the truth, even when it feels uncomfortable, your entire internal world begins to shift. Your boundaries becomes clearer. Your voice becomes stronger. Your decision becomes more aligned with your values rather than your fears. You stop living life based on who others want you to be and start living life based on who you truly are. Truth removes confusion. It removes emotional fog. It removes the heavy mental load of pretending. So as we begin this new season together and this new year, I want to invite you to reflect on one simple but transformative question. What truth have you been avoiding? And what would your life look like if you're finally facing it? You don't have to solve that today at all. You don't have to take action today either. Just acknowledging it is a powerful first step. Because facing the truth is not about blaming yourself or criticizing your past decisions. It's about liberating yourself from the invisible chain of denial. It's about stepping into a life that feels honest, aligned, peaceful, and real. The truth may shake you, but will never betray you. Avoidance feels safe, but it keeps you stuck. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're here because some part of you is ready to stop holding that beach ball on the water. You're ready to let it rise. You're ready for freedom. And freedom always, and always, begins with truth. Thank you all for joining me for the first episode of season 3. So in our next episode, we're diving deep into the emotional pattern that keeps us trapped. Anxiety, fear, and the cycles we repeat without realizing it. This third season is about breaking through every layer of illusion so you can live the life you were meant to live. Until then, my friend, stay awake, stay grounded, and stay free.